All right,
Can't
we're
even
about
say
to
it
look at
this
this
time.
Google Genie AI game generator. Fuck y'all. We don't have to do no intro. I'm sorry.
We've heard of text to speech, text to video, and text to action, but have we slept on text to interaction? Let's take a look at the new Genie concept from Google DeepMind and set it in the context of new developments regarding Sora and Gemini. And we'll hear what Demis Hassabis, CEO of Google DeepMind, has to say about Sam Altman's.
Damn, that shit look raw as
I was
hell.
just thinking that, like, that is so
That's
crazy that that's AI.
that's dope. What you know about this shit, Curtis?
This one?
Yeah. I mean,
Nothing.
no, what do you know about this?
Genie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a whole lot of like this is just something I ran into earlier today. Essentially, by using a video, I mean not a video, by using a single image like of a video game character, like in an action, the Gemini made by Google, their new AI, it can actually take that image and create an actual video game based on that. So the video games are simple. They're kind of like the Mario style games where you jump. From what I've seen so far, they're like side scrollers where you can like jump aboard, above or on top of platforms or boxes and stuff like that. Go through doors, like simple things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at how long it took humans to get from those very simple games to almost photorealistic video games, that was what, 20 years?
Yeah.
AI with its computing capabilities and with our current technologies, we'll be able to do that in a fraction of the time. So we might be 5 years from putting up an image, telling AI what you want the game to do, and it making the game.
Damn.
I mean,
Well,
that's scary.
we a few seconds in and I'm impressed already. Let's see.
$7 trillion chip ambitions and touch on some recent notorious missteps. But I do want to make a confession up front to all of you guys. The entire industry will not be shocked by this video. Everything might not change, and the world may well not be stunned by what I have to say. If you're willing to forgive that, it should still be an interesting time, so let's get started. The TLDR of Genie released in the last few days is this. You can now hand a relatively small AI model an image, and it could be any image, a photo you've just taken on your phone, a sketch that your child or you just drew, or an image, of course, that you generated using, say, Midjourney or DALL-E 3. And Genie, that small model, will take this image and make it interactive, a bit like handing you a PlayStation or Xbox controller. You could then make the main character jump, go left, go right, and the scene will change around it. Essentially, you've made an image playable. Or in other words, you've made imaginary worlds interactive. This is how Google put it. Genie is capable of converting a variety of different prompts into interactive, playable environments. These can be easily created, stepped into, and explored. Now, before we get into the meat of the paper, I want to let your imagination run wild. Because your mind, of course, went to the same place as me, which is imagine this integrated into Sora. How about controlling the shark or dolphin in this papercraft world? Remember that the promise of this paper is that as you move left, right, up, down, or make jumping motions, the world is crafted around you. This would be open world exploration in its truest sense. Or take this example, again generated by Sora. In the near future, we needn't have two separate models either.
Is this a game or is that real?
I think this is AI generated using Sora, which I'm actually looking up now because I don't know that one. Also, text to video. So Sora uses text to video, and then I'm guessing Genie can make that video interactive. And also, I wanted to tell you to pause it earlier. That is far more impressive than what I thought it was. From the video I was
Hmm.
watching before, it looked like it could just make side scrollers. The idea of taking any image or video and making it interactive is far more difficult than just making a side scroller.
Right.
Like you could literally take a picture of yourself downtown New Brunswick, wherever, doesn't matter, and then have yourself look into the different stores and stuff like that. I mean, obviously what you're interacting with would be generated, so it wouldn't be like you're actually there, but that's still a phenomenal idea. Like, that's crazy.
As hell.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
Could be
crazy.
the
That looks real.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
same model, generating the world and allowing you to interact within it. And yes, I do still find it incredible that this video was generated by Sora. And the characters you create could take almost any form. How about a tortoise made of glass? Or maybe you want to control a translucent jellyfish floating through a post-apocalyptic cityscape. Or how about this example? Yes, it's nice to watch the video, but imagine controlling it. So it would be prompted by an image, say, of your hometown. And I can't help but point out the speed with which many of us are now becoming.
No.
How long ago was it that I said text to video is ridiculous? And it was still choppy and terrible. That is text to video now. That shit
Yeah.
is crazy. Now, how far do you guys think we are from full-length movies? Like, if you could, like that video they showed of the crash spaceship underwater, it looked like. That looked like it might have been 7 seconds, but it looked like a movie.
Yeah.
How long before you can string enough of those together to get a 30-minute short? I'm just saying.
Do you think a movie still would be good to you, AI generated?
Absolutely.
You do?
Way better.
Wow.
I can tell you why. Because you wouldn't use just one AI to do it. You would use an AI designed to learn people. So like they have the dating AIs. And the reason people are afraid of dating AIs is because they're designed to learn your patterns, learn what you like, and then act the way you want them to act. Scary shit. How does a regular human compete with that?
Right.
Yeah, it's like a regular human can't do that. It's not a thing people can do. But if you take the learning aspect of that and you pair that with the movie generation, they can literally generate a movie that you definitely will like. Hollywood ain't doing that. Hollywood makes the movie they think is going to reach the biggest audience and make the most money. So if you have an AI that can generate a movie for you specifically, definitely going to be better to you than anything else. Like,
that'd be raw as fuck.
Yeah. Like if you're a huge action guy, if you're a huge anime guy, if you want to blend with like physical action, but anime style graphics and special effects.
Lethal Weapon with Dragon Ball Z?
Hey, whatever you can imagine.
Yeah,
You
I
can
like
probably
what you're painting there, Cobra.
Die Hard crossed with Naruto would be crazy.
The only thing with that is that's dangerous because you potentially with AI getting so, I guess, consistent and getting better, then you putting like all the, as you said, Hollywood, you putting them in a dangerous situation because all the workers and you know, the jobs and stuff that's put in jeopardy. Like, you know, those things are multi-million-dollar budgeted things, and if you got a bunch of AIs that can make a movie, you just basically shitting on all those jobs, directors and producers and actors, I guess, in general.
Which brings me to this question. Me and a couple guys talked about how they got in Vegas machines cooking for you. It's like a vending machine. You watch them flip the burgers and everything, cook the fries, they drop them, shake them out the basket and all that. If machines and AI is gonna cook, if they're gonna deliver packages because they trying to have the self-driving trucks like the Teslas, if they're gonna make movies, if they're gonna make music, if they're gonna make content and write scripts, if they're gonna build our cars and pretty soon build our houses, if they're gonna police us, which they're trying that now, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Well, there's certain industries that are safer than others. So like, labor jobs in existing buildings specifically.
It's sounding like we getting close to slavery.
Well, no, I'm just saying labor jobs in existing buildings.
Look at Mr.
There's,
Fahey, like, yeah.
there's no robots that can do that yet. That's still a
Slavery, the
yet.
remix. White people next to black people.
No,
and
the pro-
AIs is the new master.
That's I hate to say it, that's the happy ending.
What?
Yeah. The dark ending is the super elite, let's call them the super elite, whoever they are. Right now, we are useful.
Well, they
We're
call
useful.
us they say the super elite call us useless eaters.
Well, what we're good for is turning the cogs. We create the things that they consume, right?
Right.
When robotics and AI can do all of that, and they control all the weapons, and they have all the power, and they've got drones that can just fly around and shoot you in the face, and they don't need you anymore. I'm just saying, there's a much darker future than just slavery.
You know, every time we talk about this, we get closer and closer to Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Imagine Terminator only, it's not super intelligent AI. It's the elites controlling AI. Like the AI never becomes sentient, but people control it, say it's sentient, and then just do what they want to do. Like, what are you going to do? You can fight. I mean, you can try. You can go on the ground.
No, you're gonna be like that guy in Texas who was shooting all those cops. He was shooting cops and giving them a hard time. They was like, you know what? That's fine. They fucking just drove a drone, a bot in there, blew the fucking bot up and
Yeah.
killed him. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, that was an easy way to get rid of him.
Years ago, Elon Musk on stage said, we need to be careful with drones and stuff. He was like, right now we have the technology where a regular drone, you could put a small warhead on the tip of it and using a phone, like a camera from your phone and the same technology in your phone, you could have it look for a certain face, fly to that face and explode. He said that years ago on stage. And it sounds like they actually just used it on that dude. They were like, huh, we can do that? We
Yeah.
started making it right after that. Like, crazy.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, but I'm just riding the wave. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's no point in fear. I mean,
I'm going
We're-
back
we're-
to the woods.
go like drones can reach you there.
That's fine.
As soon as they make those
We're gonna have to go into the mountains where they don't get good service.
well, they're working on these batteries that use like it uses like some kind of radioactive material encased in a diamond. So that battery would last for like 1,000,000 years, or maybe not 1,000,000, but 1,000 years. So they put that in the drone. They can just have it keep going until it finds you. Keep going. Follow whatever the last program it was when it had a signal.
You know, if us simpletons, us four simpletons can think of this,
Yeah.
that means there has to be a higher power that's already thought of this that won't let this happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, if like AGI actually became a thing, I mean, they could wipe out all humans, but they could also be a good force for humanity too. They could go either way. But humans controlling AI is way, way scarier than an artificial general intelligence being in control.
That'll be hilarious. I think it'll be hilarious if all that happened. Because it'll stop classism and racism. People be like, get him out of here. He's not fucking black. He's not white. He's not rich. We'd be like, motherfucker, we down to 40 people. I don't give a fuck who he is. We need the extra hands. Like,
You know, maybe the power of AI and drones will help Texas become independent. That'll help them win the war.
oh my God. Did you hear Texas?
Texas
They're looking
is
for people
already
to move to Mars, but it's like a Mars simulator in Texas. They paying people to do it.
Oh, I did see something about that. They're making a habitat.
Yeah.
and they're trying to see who they can get to. I forgot. Was it 6 months? They want to see if people can live in that habitat for some amount of time. They want to see if people can actually live and stay in the habitat without going crazy and killing each
Yeah,
other.
they're trying to make their exit plan already.
I don't
And
blame them.
it like Broly said, the spaceship only meant for one. We're gonna have to ball that motherfucker up. Like, we was taking all of y'all with us.
One of the books I read, they actually did that. The elites got on the ship and was trying to leave, and the people on the ground blew that shit up. Like, nah,
No,
we all in this together. You ain't gonna fuck up the planet and leave. Nah.
They wouldn't tell nobody.
Right, the people that were working on the base blew it up. Like, not
Oh.
the average citizen. Like, the people on the base that they were leaving, they were like, I don't think so. Because they did the thing that the government would do. They tried to pretend like, oh, the next ship is for you guys, but there was no other
Yeah,
ship
no.
being made. It's
No.
like, no.
You'll get on the next ship.
Yeah. They probably gonna shoot the fucking station from once they get into orbit. Like, make
Do
sure
an
you ain't
orbital
following them.
strike.
Yeah, they're gonna make sure you ain't following them. Like, nope. No, nice try.
Accustomed to new announcements and how we're adjusting to them. OpenAI's Sora model has been out for just over a week, and here's a paper where we can imagine it being interactive. But that's the way things are going. Modalities are multiplying. Models are unifying across text, audio, video, action, and interaction. In a moment, I'll touch on how this might affect robotics, but here's audio coming to videos generated by Sora. This is thanks to 11 Labs, and you can just feel how sound
11 Labs,
elevates the experience of video. All of this 30-second clip is AI generated.
What? And all
In a
the
place
black
beyond
people don't look alike?
imagination, where the horizon kisses the heavens,
Dude.
one
Wow.
man dares to journey where few have ventured. Armed with nothing but his wit and an unyielding spirit, he seeks the answers to mysteries that lie beyond the stars.
And there's one key detail that I don't want you to miss from the Genie paper. The final version of Genie at 11 billion parameters was trained in an unsupervised manner from unlabeled internet videos. To simplify, they didn't pair up an image with some controller movements or text and tell the model what happened next. There was no such human supervision, it was just hundreds of thousands of internet videos. And if you don't find that interesting, well, how about this? The results they got from the Genie architecture scale gracefully, they say, with additional computational resources. If you want Sora levels of fidelity rather than the pixelated stuff we got, just scale up the compute. Then, as the paper says, we will have generative interactive environments, which is a new paradigm whereby interactive environments can be generated from a single text or image prompt. At this point though, before we get carried away, I want to inject some realism. Genie was trained on 10 frames per second video clips at 160 by 90 resolution. For the website, they scaled up to 360p, but still, we are not yet that close to Sora levels of immersion and interaction. And I don't just mean that Sora and the Genie interactions hallucinate badly, according to the paper. I'm referring
That's
to the fact
creepy
that
as fuck.
real-time,
That's
high-fidelity
crazy.
generation is still
It's
a
creepy.
while
Did you see
away.
the
That's
wolves,
just
like,
not on my
morphing in and out of each other?
Yeah. That's fucking crazy. This whole fucking I can't take it back. Okay. Well, oh well.
prediction list for this year, and that's of immersion and interaction. And I don't just mean that Sora and the Genie interactions
three,
hallucinate badly,
four,
according to
then
the
three, then
paper.
four,
I'm
then
referring to the
five,
fact
then
that
three.
real-time, high-fidelity generation is still a
If
while
I'd
away.
have saw that,
That's just
I'd have
not on
been
my
like,
prediction
yeah,
list
I'm high
for this
and go right back in the house. Like I'm extremely high.
year, and that's despite me saying that super realistic text to video would happen this year in my January 1st video. What's my evidence that latency will slow everything down? Well, according to Bloomberg, OpenAI won't say precisely how long Sora takes on each request. But apparently you can definitely go grab a snack while you wait for these things to run. So real-time, interactive, low-resolution games by the end of this year, yes. And high-resolution, time-limited interactive generations by the end of this year. But I think we'll have to wait till next year for the combination of those two things. Still, I do think it's worth
Man,
pausing
1
to imagine
year.
a scenario.
Yeah.
1 year from you having a photorealistic video that you can interact with.
This is a good potential of someone becoming a millionaire overnight. You know, with that using their own thoughts to make a super dope ass game that everybody want to play.
All of these, there are millionaires being made right now with AI, like all over the place. It's just if you know how to use it and if you're clever enough to, I'm not. That's not my wheelhouse. But yeah, the potential's definitely there.
That we might well get by the end of this year, be it inside Gemini 2 or GPT-5. Imagine either of those models creating an
I like to point out the name of this genius application is Gemini
Bullshit.
and not Leo. Okay, just remember that.
I knew you was
Nor
gonna say
Aries.
something. It's bullshit.
intricate short story. Say with this cute little robot character as the protagonist. And then
called Leo.
That'll be the update.
Yeah, the update it'll be called Leo.
Yeah.
And when AI gets to the point of killing people, then it'll be called
Aries. Aries would be in supernova form.
Right.
Alongside each chapter of that story, it generates a real-time video that you can play about with. You can almost picture it, as the paper says, it would emulate parallax. That's when the character and the foreground move around, but the background stays relatively static. The model would have created not only a story, but a playable world. And just to reiterate, all we need is a single text prompt or a single image to create that new interactive environment. We've already seen how it can make an AI image playable, but here is that concept.
Whatever game you make, it's got to have like a psychedelic veil around it, like an energy around it. That way, when wolves and shit going in and out, you're like, hey, that's supposed to happen. You know, you're supposed to feel like you're tripping balls a little bit. You know,
this game ain't for you if you don't appreciate it.
Right. Otherwise, they're gonna be like, man, he fucked up right there. Look at that.
Applied to a human designed sketch, and finally to some real world images. But just before we leave the paper, I want to touch on just how well within their capabilities Google were when they made this 11 billion parameter model. And let's not even talk about Gemini 1.5 Ultra, which is coming soon, or Gemini 2. What could they do with a bigger model size or more compute? Well, they could train Genie 2 on an even larger proportion of internet videos to simulate realistic and imagined environments. At this point, I'll even throw in another prediction. I think by the end of this year, you could play a run through of a particular game from start to end. Then feed in that entire video to, say, Genie 2 or an open source equivalent. Then, if you wait a few minutes, you'll essentially get an expansion pack, another level of the game generated by the model. One which might have some hallucinations, but in which you can take all the same actions as before. Of course, the copyright issues with that will be multifarious. But there are some other complications aside from copyright about all of these developments. And no, I don't just mean an explosion.
That guy whole setup looks like he's just hacking shit and getting into people's shit. Fucking
What's
up
that?
things.
The AI powered monitor helps you cheat at League of Legends. That's the name of the article. It's literally designed to cheat a video game.
How?
Not my wheelhouse.
A monitor? Sabius, can you possibly elaborate on that? Or you don't have the fucking brain power to utilize his potential?
I will take your insults. Unfortunately, Savius is not in the best mood right now, so
Like my brain is barely keeping me awake.
I will address your insults at a later time.
You can't explain quantum physics to me right now?
I can
cheating
explain.
in game.
Oh, I was gonna say, what's that soundbite you like to have? I think you should just shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
You can now buy monitors that alert you of enemy movements, and you're going to get AI-powered peripherals that ensure you don't miss your shots, but frankly, for me, take away the spirit of any game. But no, I'm more referring to the
AI
growing...
Shark, I've seen that and similar things. Actually, for your game with Call of Duty, that's pretty notorious for having those devices and stuff. People using, they like reduce like all the recoil. It can pretty much auto aim for the people, so
Yeah.
they can use like any gun, no recoil. They can hold it down, and it auto aims for them too. So
I don't see
yeah,
Yeah,
why
we
you
was
even
playing
play the
today,
game
and
at
one of
that
the
point.
Metaphor members got killed while a guy was in a pistol. He got killed by a guy who had a pistol that was in the water like 1,000 meters away.
Like, why even play the game at that point? Like, you're not even playing. You're
I think
piloting
they
the
ended to
character while
troll
somebody
to
else
hear
kills
people
them.
rage.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, people troll online. It's not that.
And
That's
then
not
they,
that big of a stretch.
they like making people feel like they're not good. Like, I mean, just imagine working out every day trying to look like this guy at the gym, only to find out he been on steroids the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Predictability of the job market. Not necessarily job losses, but the inability to plan your career. Like this announcement from Tyler Perry isn't exactly about job losses. He saw OpenAI's Sora last week and decided not to expand his studio. But those quote job losses wouldn't show up necessarily in the statistics because those jobs never necessarily existed.
Wow.
It's just that they won't exist now. Let me know
Now
what you
he's
think, but I feel like that might
he's in the industry and came to the same conclusion we did. Like, I'm not going to expand because we're fucked.
Yeah, I think they say he's got the biggest studio in America, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I have to. I always hear from a lot of Caucasians that that's who I look like sometimes. I usually hear that from Caucasians. I don't usually hear that from black people.
You look like Tyler Perry. That is fucking insane. Wild.
I mean,
happen quite
You look as much.
Motherfucking fight.
You look as much. You look as much like Tyler Perry as Fife look like Brad Pitt.
thank you.
a lot.
So
It's not that companies
consider
might
me
start
okay.
to fire everyone, they just might not hire as many people as they originally would have done. And it almost goes without saying that that doesn't just apply to gaming and entertainment. Samsung, and I raised an eyebrow at this, plans to have fully automated chip fabrication plants by 2030. And that article brought to mind this 1-minute video that I think is appropriate to play here.
Looking to upskill for the future?
This new AI can perform all coding jobs in seconds, including blockchain development.
Put that
While
book
this
down.
AI is already outperforming accounting firms. Meanwhile, the new graphic design AI aims to automate graphic design and could minimize the
You know what I'm saying?
Relax.
Yeah.
Because in a future where AI does most of the work, there'll be one thing that humans will finally get to do all day long.
No.
Nothing.
Before we lose all of our jobs, though, a quick
Yeah,
plug
that's what I
for
like
the
to
new Discord channel I've got set up for AI Insiders. I've recruited thought leaders from 20 professions, from neurosurgeons to professors, cybersecurity experts, marketing CEOs, and AI engineers. And new
Oh, that's it. I'll just be a neurosurgeon. That's easy. I can do that.
No. Nope.
Don't be a neurosurgeon.
Nope. They're fucked too. A robotic arm that just aims right to the exact precise spot every time over a human hand? Yeah, give me the robot. We're not there yet, but I'm saying 5 to 10 years. Like I'm going robotics and AI for everything.
You don't trust me? Come on.
AI can already outperform humans, and I want to say radiology. Like they can more accurately diagnose the scans from when you get a scan when you go to the hospital. AI can already outperform
MRI.
humans with MRIs. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, all the doctors are fucked. A lot of the jobs you thought would go away will go away, like lawyers and stuff and paralegals, because it's just remembering shit. Like obviously, AI will be able to do that. Art, doctors, like I never saw that.
Prostitutes are in the clear.
Not yet. I mean, for now, OnlyFans is already taking a hit. There's a bunch of dudes using AI-generated fake women on OnlyFans making millions of dollars.
Well, what's gonna happen when you actually want to fuck?
Let me too.
Robotics. That's where the robotics come in. Can't
And
wait
then
to get
we
my
had this-
robotic waifu.
We had this conversation before. Careless is down with the waifu robots.
I can't wait. Ain't
Oh
gotta
my
put up
Can't
with,
wait.
God.
That's
ain't gotta
what
put up with no more bullshit.
she don't talk back. She can you can get a
No,
when they get the
mine
robots
would
that
talk
cook and
back.
clean for you.
No, mine would talk back. Like I like back and forth and stuff. What I don't
That
like is the idea of you taking half my shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that
I'm
robot
not.
snatch rips your cock off.
What
By then
about
I'll be
the
able to get another one.
what about the women having man AI robots? He'll kick your ass. You offend his wife. Fucking you punch and he fucking grabs your fucking fist and crushes it. That'd be
Set
funny
to
as hell.
terminate.
People are joining as thought leaders every week, including a famous game designer, hopefully next week. What we're trying to create is a friendly and professional environment in which to swap tips and share best practices. Of course, I'd love to see you there, but if you join my Patreon, you don't, of course, just get access to the Discord. There's also podcasts and interviews. Tomorrow, actually, I'm interviewing the CEO of Perplexity. And last but not least,
Yeah, look like
exclusive
he
AI
stole
Explained
something.
style videos. This is one that I released 4 days ago that draws upon 7 or 8 different papers. This is the same week, though, that Demis Hassabis gently mocked that $7 trillion figure. He was asked in Wired about Sam Altman trying to raise that much money for more AI chips to scale up the compute available. Demis Hassabis, the CEO of Google DeepMind, said
$7 trillion.
Yeah, I believe it.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
They are literally shaping the future, though. You can watch them in real time shape the future. I would get as much money for that as I could. If I had money to invest and I knew how to, I would invest in that shit. But
Well, I guess a few $1 billion in the 1800s was crazy when they did the Carnegie and Steel deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Was that a misquote? I heard someone say that maybe it was yen or something. Of course, taking the mickey because yen is worth a lot less than dollars. He went on to point out that, of course, not everything rests on scale. He said you're not going to get new capabilities like planning or tool use or agent-like behavior just by scaling existing techniques. I've got another video coming on agents, so that discussion will have to wait for another day. But what might be coming sooner than that video is a video on AI in robotics. 4 days ago, a researcher at Google DeepMind said this: there will be 3 to 4 massive news events coming out in the next weeks that will rock the robotics plus AI space.
So, guys, the amount of money that's circulating in the world altogether is $37 trillion.
What?
Maybe he saw that and was like, I could just trim off the 7. They can keep the other.
Right. Just give me the 7. Just keep using that other 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Industrial
If we have
timelines.
AI doing everything, is there a point to even having jobs or a currency system?
Well, there is a push for like a global, I guess a global dollar, or a lot of the crypto markets and stuff. That's what they talk about, like, and the different groups trying to get away from, like, especially like the U.S. dollar.
I'll be right back.
What, the global dollar?
It would be
Yeah.
one currency used across the world. There wouldn't be yen, there wouldn't be US dollars or euros. It'd just be one currency that everyone around the world uses.
I get that, but I don't understand how beneficial that'd be.
Well, I mean, you could use it for pretty much like, I'm thinking it probably from a base idea, but just look at travel. And you don't have to go through a foreign exchange, or to exchange if you go in, overseas to another country and stuff. If you got this one global currency, it automatically, you can trade. You can like here, what's that? Amazon. We buy things from Amazon. A lot of those things are shipped and stuff are made from overseas, from other countries, and then if they have that one global currency, we could you could potentially just trade with that, or barter in exchange with that.
And it'd make it easy for the passport bros.
Yeah. But then your money won't be powerful somewhere else. Like when
Oh.
you go to Mexico or something like that, your American dollar won't be as powerful anymore.
Well, I mean, is it really necessity that the US dollar be
Yes.
as powerful? I mean, for a US citizen, yeah, we would think so, but I mean, looking at it globally from a global market,
Fuck the
where
globe.
that just only makes the US more powerful. That's why they're trying to get away from it.
Take me to Thailand where I can have like $10 in my pocket and I'm rich, so I can be like, bitch, I'm rich. Come with me.
Yeah. What do you think, Sabius? From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Oh my god.
Will be a crazy 2024. Now, I would guess that Genie counts as one of those 3 to 4 announcements. He can't have been referring to Gemma, the open model from Google DeepMind, because that was released the day before. The most interesting part of the Gemma paper and release for me was the sheer scale of data that they used. For those of you who've been following the scene for a while and remember the Chinchilla paper, that was back in 2022 when it was discovered that for a given compute budget, the optimum number of tokens to train on, text tokens we're talking about, was roughly 20 times the number of parameters. But for Gemma, which was 7 or 8 billion parameters, they trained on around 6 trillion tokens of text. That's 1,000 tokens of text for every parameter. Or in other words, when you've got the kind of compute that Google has, you don't have to necessarily follow the compute optimal strategy. But I am prevaricating. What news do I think Ted is referring to? Well, here's my best guess, and no, it's not based on any insider knowledge. I think Google is going to announce another embodied model like RT2, but powered by Gemini. Now, I've covered RT2 in previous videos back in October, and indeed interviewed the tech lead for RT2X for AI Insiders. But those models, in a nutshell, fuse robotics data with transferred learning from text and web data. In other words, it got better at robotics through having an LLM at its core, or you might say an MMM, a multimodal model. But in the case of RT2, that was Palm-E at 12 billion parameters, or Parley-X at 55 billion parameters. Imagine RT3 powered by Gemini at, say, 1 trillion parameters. It might understand the world around it to unprecedented degrees of depth and intelligence. And if it's powered by Gemini 1.5, it might be able to remember that world for months and months and months. Indeed, I was so inspired by the RT series that I made it the unofficial logo of AI Insiders. The valuations for humanoid AI-powered robotic startups are starting to get pretty wild too. The CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, said that his equivalent for the Transformer paper in the near future is foundational robotics. He said, if you could generate text, if you could generate images, can you also generate motion? He said the answer is probably yes, and like we've seen, we can also generate interaction. He went on, humanoid robotics should be just around the corner. I think he was referring to Nvidia's GEAR, Generalist Embodied Agent Research. That's led by none other than Jim Fan. And he said 2024 is the year of robotics and the year of gaming AI. Now, this is Tesla's Optimus robot, but I do wonder if the ChatGPT or Sora moment for robotics will be when a humanoid robot walks with the fluidity of a human. That will just seem so wild when it happens. Just imagine a humanoid walking up to you with human-like swagger and shaking your hand.
Y'all ready for this?
That thing walking like he got a dookie in its pants.
I think that's highly stupid what they're doing. I think it's really stupid to put AI in robotics. I think it's really dumb.
Why is that?
Because if somebody hacks it and controls it, or tells it to do the wrong thing, or if each robot has its own operating system with its own AI, you're more likely to get some rogue robot that thinks it's a person that does some shit. This is literally all the stuff in all the movies.
This is the first Terminator right here.
Yeah, this is all the
this is
stuff in all
iRobot.
the movies.
It's before Skynet evolved.
Seems like a bad plan. But is what it is.
People
Hopefully-
gonna be sending their fucking bots to do their bidding and shit, killing their ex-wives and husbands.
It went rogue. Who knew? Who knew this could happen?
All while remembering a conversation you had with it, say, a year ago. Now, I don't think I can end this video without touching on some of the recent controversies that Google has faced. I just think they were fairly clearly not given the kind of testing that they obviously required. And I'm not just referring to how Gemini seems to be phobic of the word white. There's also evidence of false refusals to questions that have a pretty obvious answer. And my take on this is going to try to move beyond just the obvious take. I think these examples show that Google is genuinely rattled by OpenAI, Microsoft, and players like Perplexity. And so they're cutting corners on the testing of their models. After all, if you're 6 months behind OpenAI, what's one way to catch up? Just cut out 6 months of human feedback for your models. I hope this isn't what Google did or plans to do in the future, but it seems like that to me. So let me know what you think of all of this and whether...
That's one video. That was interesting.
Relaunch its AI tool that creates images of people in the next few weeks. The tech giant paused the technology after inaccuracies in some historical depictions. Joining us right now to discuss mistakes and bias in AI is Michael Furtick. He's the founder of Heroic Ventures. Good morning to you. This has caused a lot of consternation, a lot of commotion, frankly, around the country, around the world. The pendulum swung one way. Is it going to swing the other way? Michael, how big a deal is this? And why are these things happening?
I think it is a big deal that Google, which is the source of truth for any number of topics in our lives, you, your producers, your colleagues rely on Google for information probably hundreds of times a day. It is a big deal that Google, which is now the paper of record for the internet, the way the New York Times might have been one day in the past, the paper of record for the world, is creating fictitious and historically impossible images. For example, depicting the founding fathers as African-American men or Asian women, or...
Whoa!
That's hilarious.
Here we go.
refusing to answer or declining to answer who is more evil, Adolf Hitler or Elon Musk. Over time, if left unchecked, this fictitious information that came from Gemini and comes from other models, we don't have to just pick on Google, will find its way into our knowledge sphere, will find its way into schools, will find its way into curriculum and lessons, because teachers will incorporate what they find,
Right.
Students will incorporate what they find when they write essays, and then we will further miseducate the younger generations with bad information and bad history. And the things that we think are bad about our current political electorate will get
Right.
only worse. So I think it is
So,
a
Michael,
very big deal.
you've set the table quite
My
nicely.
only
The
problem
real
with that
question
is
is,
they
can
do
these
that
things be...
already.
You say what?
I said they do that already. They have bad teachers use bad information, bad stats. I mean, that's already current. To blame it on AI, I think you're not really setting anything different. It's a lot of history itself is what we say is a his story. You're getting a lot of information and stuff that's being taught to the younger generation as bad information right now. And it has been over the years. Now, I'm not saying, all knowledge based in the education system. I mean, generally like math and science, that's not going anywhere anyway. But like history, and you're talking about that, yeah, it's a lot of disingenuous and a lot of misinformation out there, period.
I'm looking in the comments. People like they literally made all historical figures black. And they saying the guy at the top didn't react to it. I'm like, that won't be the first time they put the wrong race on somebody, but I don't feel like doing that tonight.
There's people that argue Jesus is white, and historically, it's written in the Bible, it's written in pretty much everything. Jesus is not white. So, but hey,
It's also a little silly that, like, his sales pitch is they're going to misinform the children. But then the examples he used are so outlandish. Like, What school is gonna accidentally teach that the founding fathers were Asian women? Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. That's a little silly. And then which is worse, Adolf Hitler or Elon Musk?
That's
AI
ridiculous.
doesn't really
Elon
understand.
Musk.
AI doesn't understand the question. That's a highly nuanced question. There's no way that you would get a good answer from that. It's like it's just cobbling together the best it can from the information it pulls up. Like I'm just saying their argument's a little silly.
Yeah, he's going on the extreme side, you know.
Yeah.
Fixed. And how are they going to be fixed in real time over time?
They
So that
can be
we're always
fixed.
getting the most accurate information that actually exists out there. If in fact what it's really doing is pulling from all sorts of places, some of which is going to be accurate and some of which is not.
So I like what you just said. There's sort of garbage in, garbage out. That's true. You have to make sure they're pulling from good sources. But there's also what lends these models, which are inherently dumb. They have to be taught how to think the way any other machine has to be taught how to think. It's the lens that these models are given, or that's applied to these lenses by the political officers who operate and work and control large bureaucracies at these companies, insist on applying. There is a political class, a political officer class, just as there was in the Soviet Union. It is very real. These are unreviewable people, and many of them grifters, who are unemployable outside of these very, very specific jobs that they have in choosing the political future and the ideological
Hold on,
truth.
who are the grifters?
I think you have a group of bureaucrats who work at companies like Google, like Meta, who are in charge of something called ethics or something called political compliance, who are effectively unemployable people, but they have, through their PhDs and through their consulting gigs and through their self-appointed roles as political truth seekers or ideological truth seekers, become the arbiters of truth for
Okay,
the
so
outputs
who should
of
be the
these
arbiter
models.
of truth? Because the truth is, if
These guys bore me. They assholes.
Yeah, the guy at the bottom, like, how can you be unhireable and have a PhD? Like, come on, man. I'm not a fan of this guy. He seems like he has an agenda he's trying to preach towards, and he's just saying whatever he can to preach
They
towards.
loving him in the comment section.
Confirmation bias. He's saying what they want to
This
hear.
guest will not be back. He's too level-headed and well-spoken.
Confirmation bias. You hear what you want to hear, so you celebrate it.